have the wonderful Kate Ceberano here today, the singer, musician, Australian icon, probably lots of other things. Oh, dance champion now. That's you've seen on your Instagram.
Hardly.
So thank you for answering these three questions. So kick off with the first one, which is why do you have music in your life?
I have music in my life because it gives a meaning which I can fix to my emotions more than words can do. And music has always been my best friend in a deep and soulful way. It's never let me down, and I've been able to discover there was a frequency for everything I ever felt throughout my entire life.
Right. Did you you're very lucky to be not be let down by music. Could you elaborate a little bit?
I think I must be easily pleased.
Okay, good to know.
No, meaning like no, when I say I have never been let down by music, I mean I'm often let down by myself and my skill as a musician, which is sad. I think in one lifetime, you never seem to get enough hours in a day to get truly good at what it is you love. But
Yep.
I'm learning more as I get older that that's something you can accept and you can enjoy, just the sheer skill and the same sort of joy that you received from the first time you ever made a note on any instrument. That could be quite enough if you just relax and let yourself just enjoy that. But yeah, no, music has never let me down, and I think it's because social groups when I was very young apparently used to let me down quite a lot. At school, I was dismayed at the kind of politics in the schoolyard. Then when I went out into my working life, I was dismayed about a lot of the prioritizing of things I didn't think were important, like beauty or making money. And every time I felt that I was losing control, the very one thing that I could always apply was control to my own taste and control to my own choices. So I could go to a record player or a cassette player, or I could go to a concert and choose to go and have that experience. And as a result, choose to be the effect of the emotional impact it made on me. Whereas life, you walk outside that door and you can't always choose what sort of random events you're going to be struck by.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, well, yeah, it's very interesting. Well, the second question is how do you make music?
I make music with every possible part of my anatomy, including my ass. No.
Oh, the moneymaker. Yeah.
In recent times, I've actually been sort of, I've been incautious, like I've been really careless. I sort of put myself on every instrument because I just have a need to play music with my body. And I know it's not good music always, and it's not always the best accompaniment. And sometimes professionals, when I want to have a jam with them, they'd rather not because they're just like, oh, you're just not good enough. But I don't care. Like, I think at a certain age, it's the bonfire of the vanities now. I now know that I can sit down and I can sit down at the piano and I can make it, moderately decent sound, and I can accompany myself in order to make a rather, poignant case for my own singer-songwriting. But then I can also produce, and I can also accept other people's musicianship and put them in arrangements and in ways that I think really lift and illuminate songs. That part of me's gotten a lot bolder as I've gotten older. And I really do think that music can be poetry, it could be acting. It's really, as a language, it's really become very extended for me. It's not just simply being an instrumentalist.
Yeah, and have you always played lots of instruments, or is that something you've sort of picked up recently?
No, I mean, it's because I'm such a control freak and I micromanage every band that I'm ever in. As you've seen me, I mean, if I want to demonstrate and I have to do it and I feel like I'm missing some sort of like harmonic content, or that there's some rhythm pattern that's missing. You know, I do it with a lot of, I do it with a lot of respect, because I know what it takes to become a skilled musician, and the many hours and the many experiences people have deferred from their own living in order to become good at what they do. You know, I didn't do that. I was hanging from rafters and dancing on the tops of bars and other things when you know, it was hours of somebody else getting good at their actual skill. But what I did become, I think, is a good art director. And sometimes I think bands need good art direction, because uh, it's one thing to be really talented and to express yourself, but it's another thing to invite other people into the experience and make room for them to contribute to what you're doing. Certainly audiences. Sometimes audiences need a translator, and sometimes compositions and arrangements need a translator too. Sometimes they need that little break. You often hear it in sort of more impressionist players like Rachmaninoff or Eric Satie or something. They'll have that movement that's like the chorus, and it's almost like the very chorus. It's that sort of pop heart that some person who's never studied music can understand that particular moment and give it a story. And anyway, I think that's what I hope to do when I'm bypassing everyone and sitting on their instruments and playing them badly and say, "Can you do this? Just one single note. No, don't go." It must be so frustrating for my players.
No, but I think there's having someone who knows exactly what they want is really important, and not only exactly what they want, but also having an openness to have suggestions and contributions as well. I think it's two-way, and I think if having someone like that is very helpful to come to a successful final product.
Well, great. Well, I do actually invest in. I'm not maybe about anything. That's true. I'm very decisive, because I figure, well, you know, you've got one opportunity to be in that person's community, and quite often you're traveling and touring with different artists. And I do think you have to stick up for yourself, and you have to be strong, and you have to be swift. And like you said, though, willing to also change your mind as well if it's just not working and it's not right.
Yeah, but I think that if you know what you want, then I think sometimes you can be more open to contributions, because it's like this is what, but when you hear something, it's like, oh, that's either better or different, but it works. It works. It's like, well,
it's true.
That works,
I've
and
actually,
Mm.
yeah, I've always loved that about our collaborations, actually, because I've always discovered, you know, even when we've been playing with a lot of the junior college students, you know, we've done the alumni concerts together, and then you've got these, you know, young Turks, and they've got it almost seems that the younger they are, the more rigid they are about certain rules about music.
Yeah, well, they're probably just learning them as well.
Yeah, that's right. They call it soporific, isn't it? It's when there's like someone who's a new learner, and they're very like, well, this is the way it has to be. And then suddenly you sit there and you kind of listen to it and you go, that's actually really good, but it's not moving me. It's like it's bloodless. So I love offering a young student, you tell me the cure for putting some more soul into this. Like, what is a cure? And then I get these young Turks go, well, maybe you could do blah, 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 blah. And and suddenly you get them talking, and then the rest go, oh, yeah, good one, Jason. That's right. You know, she really wanted your opinion on it. And actually, I find a great opportunity then to say to you, well, actually, no, he's got a point. Like, I agree. I think that person over there needs to be more aggressive. Certainly the rhythm section is just not quite pushing us, so we're sitting behind. Or, you know, people will offer great suggestions when they're entitled to it, and you have to make them feel entitled.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe we'll hit you with the third question, which is what excites you musically right now?
Is that in this space where we are, because we're confronted with so much fear each and every day, that it's almost making us fearless, because we know we have no other choice. but to create our way out of it as musicians. You know, our industry will be the first to go and the last to recover, but that doesn't mean that we have to be, you know, invalids in the time that we have on our own. We can actually be busy, and we could be trying to imagine where will this be when all this is open again to all of us. Like, where will it be? Will we go back to the way we were? I don't think we will. I think we'll choose.
I don't think we can. I don't think we can,
and I don't think we should. Let's just put it this. I think we should take this opportunity and streamline what we want to say, and say it with more conviction and authenticity. And I think we should stop trying to chase vapid sort of models of pop culture when there's so much more we can do as Australian artists that may say more about what we love about being Australian, like the freedoms we have here, how liberated we are from the degrees of poverty that other countries are increasingly becoming more and more suffocated by. I mean, you know, I think the artists, I do think it's their job to have a signature message, and I think the message right now will be really refined.
Well, thank you. That's really great to talk. Great to see you, and really happy to see that you're well. And
in my smoking jacket, which I'm wearing the smoking jacket because I feel like it's one of those. I feel a bit like an Oscar Wilde in the afternoon, you know, when you're stuck in isolation and there's no need to really go and get dressed up. But I have to tell you, I found this smoking jacket in a place called Tumbarumba. This is my last one. And, you know, the artists, as you probably did as well, we spent 2.5 months, 3 months before this happened, putting out a fire all across the eastern states.
Yeah.
You actually had them over as well.
We didn't have as many as the eastern states. It was,
Oh, it was hectic, and
yeah.
You know, we spent a lot of time fundraising and every valid weekend for, you know, opportunities for our gigs we deferred when we did fundraising. So this was my gift, that when I went to this small country town, and we just made, my band and I, for singing 5 hours or 6 hours, like a marathon. We had fundraised and made $40,000, and we gave it to all these small Rotary clubs through the regions of Victoria and New South Wales. And this was my gift. I found in an op shop, a pure silk 1900s, you know, smoking jacket. And so
awesome.
I feel it's like my badge of honor.
Now, you earned that.
I did. I earned this.
You earned this. Yeah. Awesome. Well, good to see you, and thank you again.
No worries. Lovely to see you, Tom. See you later, mate.